Hi everyone, welcome you all. So in our previous video, we have seen how to use different type of locators like XPath and the CSS, and along with the locator function, which is available in the page object. So Playwright is also provided some more additional built-in locators, and by using those locators also, we can locate the different type of web elements. So now we will see what are those built-in locators which are available in the Playwright, and how we can use those locators to locate the different type of elements. Now, if I look at their official web page documentation, so in this, they have provided different type of locators. So they have provided some information like locators are the central piece of Playwright auto-weighting and retrievability. In a nutshell, locators represent a way to find element or elements on the page at the moment. So these are the different type of locators they have provided. So these are the recommended built-in locators they have listed out. So now we'll see what are those locators and how we can use it. Like all the locator functions we can directly access from the page object. You can say page.getByRole, page.getByText, and page.getByLabel, and getByPlaceholder, and page.getByAltText, page.getByTitle, and then finally we have page.getByTestId. So these are the additional locators they have provided. Now we'll see how can we use these locators one by one. So to demonstrate this, I'm going to open my VS Code editor. Now this is my VS Code editor, and now in my project, in the test, under test, I'm going to create a new test file. So select the new, and I'm naming as locators hyphen built-in locators underscore built-in dot spec dot js. So this is a new file which I have created. Now, before writing the test, we need to import Playwright test package. So for that, I'm creating one const variable, and we need two functions, test and then expect. These are two functions we required from Playwright / test package. So I can say request, and in the bracket, single quotes, specify at the rate Playwright / test. So we have imported required functions from the module. And now let us write a test function, and this is obviously anonymous function. So we need to provide a name. I can say built-in locators and the title of the test, and then I'm writing one enhanced function, arrow function. And whenever you write a new test function, we need to specify something called async keyword, and inside the function we have to pass page picture. Right now, by using this page picture, we can access all the functions whichever are available. So now I'm taking the help of one application here. Let's go to HRM application. So I just want to do login test, and by using a new type of locators which are provided by Playwright. Okay. So to automate this, I'm just capturing this URL, and first of all, I will launch my application on the browser. So for that, we need to use one command called await page.goto, and single quotation specify the URL. So this will launch your application on the browser now. So the first command what I'm going to use is, let me try to put all the commands list here in the comment section. So then we will discuss one by one. Okay, so these are the commands which we are going to discuss. So the first command, page.getByAltText. So this particular function, getByAltText, so means that element should have some alt text, and by using that alt text, we can get the element. So to locate an element, usually image by its text alternative. So most of the times when you see the images on your web page, so you can see alt text. So let me show you practically. So we can just go back to the application. So let's say, look at here, this is my logo element. This is basically image. So when you inspect this element, and in the dev tools, you can see something called alt attribute is available. So if any element is having this alt attribute, you can easily locate that element by using getByAltText function. Okay. So this alt attribute should be present. Now I'm capturing this alt equal to company-branding, So by using this alt attribute, I can use this particular method, get-by-AltText. So now I want to just check that logo is present or not. So before that, I want to capture the logo element. So I can use like this, await. So whenever you call page functions, you need to use await dot get by alt text. You can see here a page dot, there is a method get by alt text. So this is the function, and in this we can specify the attribute of that alt, and this will get the element, and I'm storing that element in a variable, let's say logo, and I name it as const variable. So now I want to check this is present or not, this is visible or not. Okay, so this element is visible or not, I want to verify. So for that, what we can do is we can write await, you can write one expect assertion, expect this logo element dot to be visible. So this is the assertion we can write, to be visible. So what exactly we have done is we have captured that element by using alt attribute. So get by alt text function will take the value of alt attribute, which is called company-branding. So now once you get the locator and then element, then we can apply one assertion on that particular element. Okay, so let us try to save and execute and see how it is going to work. So I'm opening new terminal and then I'm executing one command. So this time I'm executing another test. So specify the test name. So npx playwright test, and my test name is what? Locators underscore built-in dot spec.js, and I'm just want to run on Chromium browser in headed mode. Press enter. Okay, so it is saying no test found. So I think the name is not exactly matched. So let me correct the name. And first of all, save the file. I think I have not saved properly. Okay, so const test comma, it is not request actually, it is require. So spelling mistake. Okay, it is a require. Okay, at the rate playwright / test and a single quotation. So after that, again, save the file once again. Yes, now everything is gone. Now let me run once again. Let me clear and then execute one more time. So now it is started execution and launching my application. And now it is giving one more error. Now you can see here, it's saying logo dot to be visible. So at this point, exactly it is giving an error, to be visible. Probably the spelling mistake we have done. So let me just correct it. So await expect logo dot V is uppercase character. Okay, so to be visible. This is a right function. Now let me save the file once again and then execute. When I say Control C, it will exit from the prompt and again run the same command. Okay, now it is launching my page again. Yes, now this time my test is got passed. Okay, so this is one method available, get by alt text. So if there is an any element which is having alt attribute, and you can directly use that alt attribute value and you can get that element. Most of the times for images, you can see alt attribute for that element. Okay, now let me show you one more. So I can say get by placeholder. So this particular method we can use if you have placeholder attribute for the element. So especially for input boxes, we can see this placeholder. So on the same application, if I look at here, so there are two input boxes on my application. So in this, there is a username and password. So let me inspect the username element. Now you can see the placeholder attribute is available. And for password also, you can see placeholder attribute is available. So if there isn't any input box which is having this placeholder attribute, and you can use this placeholder attribute value directly to locate the element. So let me just locate the element by using placeholder method. So get by placeholder. Let me minimize here. So now I'm continuing this. So this is for, here we have used this method, the first method, get by alt text. Okay, get by alt text. Now I'm going to use one more method called get by placeholder. So if we have a placeholder attribute for the element, you can use this particular method, get by placeholder. So how to use it? Again, await page dot, sorry, let me write once again, await page dot the method get by placeholder. Okay, get by placeholder. So can directly get auto suggestion page dot get by placeholder, and inside this we can directly specify the value of that placeholder attribute. So again, if you go back to your application, so the username placeholder value is what? I think this is a username. Go back, and this is a username, and get that placeholder and then specify this. So this will return an element. So on that input box, we need to pass some value. So for that, again, we can use a method called fill, and you can pass the input like this. So this is how we can use get by a placeholder. Same thing for password also. I am trying to use await page dot get by placeholder, and this time we have to pass password, which is a placeholder which is there for password also. Let me inspect this element, password, and placeholder is password, and that I can pass here, and fill the password is admin123. So like this, I'm passing username and password into two different input fields, and this time I'm using get by placeholder. So when we can use this function, whenever you have a placeholder attribute for that element, you can use this. And most of the times you can see the placeholder attribute for the input elements, input boxes or text fields. Okay, so now let me execute this, and after clicking on the login button, let's try to execute. So for clicking on the login button, I just want to use some other method. So get by role, there is one more method called get by role. And this particular method we can use to locate by explicit and implicit accessibility attributes, right? So that means whenever you have a button or whenever you have a link, okay, and whenever you have to perform certain action on that element, right? Actionable elements. And those type of elements, you can use this method, get by role. Suppose normally if it is a button, right, you can see button tag in a dev tools. And if it is a input box, you can see input tag. And if it is a link, right, you can see anchor tag. So basically, even though you can see anchor tag, that is a link basically, right? So get by role, based on the role, we can locate the element. So let me show you an example for get by role. So role is not an attribute here. If I just go back to login here, login button, if I inspect this element, and what are the attributes are there here is just a button, and type is available, and then class, and type equal to submit, and then class, and some other attributes there. So this is a button, this is a role actually. Okay, so to locate this element, we can use any of the attributes. You can use type or any other attributes, name or whatever attribute is available for that element. You can use it. So I'm trying to use my get by role here. So to use get by role, you can say await page dot get by role. This is the method get by role, and basically it is a button. So the first parameter I can pass button. So if you are going to click on the link, so you can just pass as a link here. Okay, and button and comma, and on which button we have to perform the click action. So here in the curly brace, we have to specify attribute. So you can pass any attribute. So currently there is a type attribute is there, type equal to submit is there. So that I'm going to pass. So here I'm passing type. So type colon, in the single quotation, I can pass submit. And this will return the element and then followed by click method. So this is how we can locate any element by using role. So get by role. Role in the sense what kind of role that element is performing is basically. So if I look at this definition, so get by role to locate any locate by explicit and implicit accessibility attributes. That means any type of element you can locate by using get by role. If it is a link, you can just say link. If it is a button, you can say button, or if it is a select box, you can say select, something like that. So this is the get by role method. Okay, so now I have used three different methods so far: get by alt text, placeholder, and then get by role. So let us try to execute the script so far, what we have done. Now go back to terminal. I'm just running the same command. Let me clear this. Yes. So launching my application, then it is trying to find the logo and enter username and password, and now successfully click on the login button. It's going very faster. So now my test is got passed. So I don't see any issues. Now, after successful login, let us continue the script. So let me use some other methods. So get by text. So this is another method we can use, get by text. So this particular method we can use to locate any type of element which is having text content. So what does it mean? Let me show you. After successful login, you can say admin 123. And once you log in into that application, so you can capture anything. So for example, as soon as I successfully log in, I can see some username here, right? Whoever is logged into this particular application, I can see the name. So this name I can capture. This is a text content is basically, okay? This content I can check, and this I can locate. Okay, and get by text, we can capture this. The text of the element we can capture. Similarly, I can capture this employee information, and I can capture this label PAM, right? So similarly, if I just go back to the dashboard here, and then I can capture this dashboard. These are all text actually, okay? The text content we can capture, or by using the text content, we can locate the element, okay? So based on the text content, we can locate the element. So let me show you how to locate. So as soon as you successfully log in, I just want to locate this name, the text, whatever is displayed here. I want to capture that, and I want to check whether it is visible or not. So for that, what you can do is I'm trying to use one more method called get by text. Here after successful login, I'm trying to use this. So directly I'm putting some assertion on this. Let's say await, expect. So what you are expecting, that element should be visible. So what element? I'm capturing that element by using await page dot, and here I'm using that method get by text, and here get by text, and whatever name is displaying. So whatever name is displaying, that you can specify. So this is await page dot get by text, and here whatever name is displayed, that we need to pass. Now inspect this element. And if you are inspecting this element, this is the name which is displaying, right? So this element we need to capture. This is the text, actually inner text of the element. So if you want to look at any element which is having inner text, you can use this method page.getByText. So this will return the this will actually return the text from that element, and that should be visible. Like I said, dot. We are not comparing with anything. I'm just saying the same text is visible or not, to be visible. So this is a assertion, to be visible. So I'm getting that element by using text content, and then I'm verifying it is visible or not. So this is my assertion. Now let me save and then execute once again. And one more thing, whenever you log into the application, right? So that this username keeps changing. So it may not be there every time. So that also we'll try to handle. So before that, let me run the test. So it is launching my application and providing username and password. Successfully click on the login. Now it is got passed. So if you run the same test multiple times, it may not pass every time because the name keeps changing. But we are expecting some name to be there. So this is actual text we are expecting, right? So in this case, what we can do is we can capture actual text which is present, and that we can pass it here, and you can just check whether it is visible or not. So to get this, again, we can use either XPath or CSS to get that element, because we don't have these type of attributes for that element. So if we don't find those attributes, obviously we can go with the XPath or CSS. Okay, so what I'll do is this time I will try to locate this element by using some XPath, inspect that element. So this is the element, and go back to your selector hub, and that will give you relative XPath. And now I'm using this relative XPath. Just observe, before writing the assertion, I'm getting that element by calling locator method. So yesterday we have seen this approach. I can say wait page dot await page dot locator method I'm calling, and directly you can pass the XPath or CSS of the element. And dot, we have introduced one method in the last video, that is text content, right? So this will actually return the text of that element, and that I can store in a variable, and this should be const variable. And now this particular name, this particular element, right? This particular name, I will directly pass it here, so that whatever name is displayed on the same name is visible or not. I'm just checking it. Okay. So this is the main intention, is how to capture, how to locate the element by passing the text value of that element. So that's the main intention. Okay, because here the username is keep changing. So dynamically I'm getting the username and then passing here, so that this will every time pass. So let us save this again and then execute one more time. Now opening my application on the browser, login is successful. Perfect. So now I got my test passed. So this is how we can use this method. So get by AltText, get by placeholder, get by role, get by text. There are some more methods are available called get by label, get by title, get by test ID. So let us look at their official document with these examples. Suppose we go to this get by a label. If I want to just get by label, right? So how to use this get by label? Suppose if you have element like this, and you should find label tag for that element, and which contains again input box. If I look at this HTML of this code, and label is an attribute, or label is a tag, and which contains a actual label password, and inside this the input tag is there, right? If you find a label attribute for any element, if you want to locate that type of element, if you're having label at a label tag name, you can write this. You can say await page dot, you can see these methods whatever they provided. You can see await page dot get by label, and then this particular label directly you can pass. And inside this, there is an input box is there actually. So we no need to refer this input box directly. And we can refer this label element, and then we can directly pass the value by calling fill method. So very rarely you can see this kind of combinations. Most of the times you can see either label, after that input tag, but very rare cases you can see input tag within this label tag. So in this particular context, we can locate that input box by directly use this label at label tag name. So how we can use, we can say await page dot get by label, and provide this label whatever is there, and then fill secret like this. So how to check whether any labels are there not here? You can say go to dev tool, I say Control F and / label. If I search for the label, I don't see any labels in this particular web page. So if I go back to the my info, so you can see some of the labels. So you can see these are all labels actually. These are all labels. So let me find out label. Now you can see there are 21 labels are there. You can see, but this label is different. The input box is different. So you can just look at here. This is the label, and inside the label text is there. And after that, the actual input box is got started here. So this doesn't have any input box. So this is independent element actually. So if you want to capture this label, or if you want to locate this label, then you can use this method. So this is another method called get by label. Okay. And apart from this, there are few more methods are provided. And apart from the get by label, get by title is also there. So you can just look at this get by title. So this particular method will locate an element with a matching title attribute using page.getTitle. Sometimes some elements are having title tag like title attribute like this. You can see here. So some attribute, some element is there. For that, there is a title attribute is available. So to locate this element by using this title, and I can write like this. So page.getByTitle, and whatever the value which is there for the title attribute, you can just provide, and then you can locate. And in this example, they already assigned some assertion also. So you can say await expect and page.getTitle issues count, and they're basically getting this whole element based on the title attribute. And to have text is 25 issues. So this is the actual text we are going to validate here. So this is a simple example they have provided. So whenever you have seen this title attribute for any element, you can use this get by title method to locate the element. Okay, this is one method. And get by test ID is another method they have provided. If I just look at here, get by test ID. So this particular get by text ID we can use whenever you have something called data-testid attribute. This is also specific to data-testid. So if you found this particular attribute for any element, it can be button or link or whatever. If you find this particular attribute you can directly call getByTestId and directions. So here you can use only data-testId attribute value. You cannot use anything else. So then you can perform the click action. So this is the example they have given for this particular method. So locating by test ID. Okay. So these are the few methods they have provided in their web page. Get by role. So this is applicable for especially input boxes and the links. And we need to pass two parameters. One is button or link, whatever. Then we can pass any attribute of that element, and get by text, and we can capture the element by using a text. And especially inner text, if there is inner text of the element, we can capture. And get by label also we can capture. If the label tag is available for that element, you can capture the element by using get by label. And the placeholder is also one of the attribute of the element, and especially for input boxes you can see the placeholder. If you have that attribute, you can capture the element. And get by alt text, so alt is also one of the attribute of the element. Most of the times you can see for images, logos, you can find alt attribute. And if you have such type of attribute, you can use this locator to locate the element. And then get by and get by title. And if you want to capture any element by using title attribute, you can use this one. And get by test ID, if you have any attribute which is test ID attribute for that element, you can use this. So most of the methods basically depends on or based on attributes, especially for label and placeholder, alt text, title, test ID. So these methods are basically works based on the attributes of the element. You have to find exact attribute. If I say placeholder, same attribute you have to find. Alt text, again, alt part attribute you have to see. And title, that is also attribute should be present for the element. And test ID also, you should see the same attribute for the element. Okay. So, but especially get by role. And in this, you can pass any type of attribute. And by passing the role like button or link along with some attribute, you can specify and then locate the element. So these are the recommended built-in locators they have provided from Playwright side. Okay. So along with the normal locators, like we can pass XPath and CS. If you still want to use, you can call locate method as we discussed in the previous video, same thing. Or else you can use this type of methods. Okay. So that is all about locators concept in Playwright. In the next video, we will discuss some other topic. Thanks for watching.